Hello, I'm Richard Seltzer, president of Stockbridge Bowl Association. Joining me is Charles Kenny, who is the chair of the Stockbridge Board of Health. We're here to talk about how severe climate change is going to affect one of the great natural resources of the town of Stockbridge, Stockbridge Bowl. Stockbridge Bowl is 375 acres of water. It's not just a resource for the town of Stockbridge, but it's a recreational resource for the region. The Boston Symphony Orchestra has its summer home at Tanglewood on the north end of the beach. Canyon Ranch brings tourists from all over the United States to come kayaking on our lake twice every day during the summer. Charles, there are other things that you're aware of about.
Yeah, it's a very special lake. Thank you, Richard. It's a very special lake from a scientific and ecological point of view as well. As you know, there are two calcareous fens in the neighborhood. The infrastructure of the Stockbridge Bowl is a marble, dolomite, calcite, limestone formation that allows for carbonate to make water harder, and this creates a very special ecological situation that may predispose to problems that my Board of Health is very concerned with, like cyanobacteria. And the problem that we're facing not only is the unusual characteristics of the lake and the very special nature of the lake to our tourist-based community, but I know Richard has studied this a lot. There are problems that have been going on with the lake for years, but they're going to be much worse as a result of climate change.
Charles,
Richard, you want to give us an example of that?
You're absolutely right. This lake suffers from the runoff that comes from the mountains that surround it. Its formal name is Lake Mahkeenac, but its common name is Stockbridge Bowl. It's called a bowl because we're surrounded by mountains, which you can see behind us. And these mountains deliver a great volume of runoff regularly, runoff that's only going to be exacerbated by global climate change. There are some parts of this lake where the runoff has delivered so much sediment that the sediment is 8 to 10 feet deep above the hard bottom.
And Richard, isn't that why we decided to pick this spot right here? This is the town beach. Isn't the town beach especially vulnerable to runoff during heavy rains already?
It is. In fact, in 2012, the town commissioned a special study of the impact on town beach from runoff from Rattlesnake Mountain. They found that it wasn't a coincidence that the parking area gets destroyed by heavy rains on a regular basis.
Isn't it true that people from the town come here on a regular basis all year long, and that this would cost $200,000 or almost $300,000 just to fix this small spot?
Well, fix it right so that the grading on the parking area doesn't deliver more water down to the town beach and erode the town beach that children like to swim at. It needs to have a rain swale along the southern edge of the parking area to carry the runoff and to filter the sediment out of the runoff, rather than delivering it to the lake and adding to the 8 to 10 feet of sediment that's already in many parts of the lake.
And you brought up another interesting point for me is about the shallowness of the lake. In some of the places, the water, of course, comes down from the north and it exits on the south, but the southern area has been artificially dammed by a series of pipes that were unfortunately put in quite a long time ago, and it's caused the unnatural buildup of silt in those areas, which I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, it contributes to basic problems related to the shallowness of the water, including increased temperature, problems with weed
growth
control,
too, because the weeds can grow from the shallow base up to the surface.
So we have a lot of additional problems caused by that unnatural blocking, and compounded now we know by the increased stormwater drainage that's going to come down into the lake as a result of climate change.
Charles, you're absolutely right, and we know where the water comes from. There are major tributaries, 4 of them, feeding this lake. Only one of them has a holding pond at the end of it to try and trap sediment. But that holding pond filled up with sediment completely decades ago, and the town forgot that when man made that holding pond, the intention was to dredge the pond regularly. We have to
Well, I think under these circumstances, we have a whole lot of very well motivated issues to solve that we hope the state is going to help us out with, because they are climate change related.
Charles, you've studied the cyanobacteria outbreak that we had 2 years ago. What do you think the effect of global climate change will be on the frequency of cyanobacteria?
Oh, this is a global problem, and you're absolutely right. Climate change is one of the main contributing factors. We know there are other factors in terms of settlement around the watershed, but climate change and watershed settlement control, these are two very important aspects of it. Richard, do you have anything else you want to add, or do you think we made some of the points that we
I think the final point that our studies have shown is there are culverts that deliver water to the lake that are in sad repair. There's a useful life to a culvert. We've exceeded them. They are falling apart. And if we don't rebuild them and build them to contain more water, anticipating the global climate change, we're going to be in trouble.
I think you're absolutely right, because I've read the studies the town and the SBA has done on that, and we have multiple studies that absolutely confirm that.
Thank you, gentlemen.